Hello and welcome to the Gamestorm Magic Podcast. Here as always, Tom Denby along with
Dan Horgan
and our special guest today,
Robert Gagnon.
First guest on the podcast, man. How you doing tonight?
Good.
Good. How you doing, Dan?
Doing.
So we got good and doing. All right, well, that means we're doing good.
Yeah.
All right, anyway, let's dive on in, guys. So our topic for today is going to be the new Grand Prix Magic Fest Pro Player, the whole changes that they've made to the Pro Tour and all that shit. So that's what we're going to be talking about.
And how they're paying pros.
Yeah.
And then we'll get into some spoilers that we didn't see last time towards the end.
And I just want to say, by the way, I hate that name, Magic Fest.
It's pretty awful.
The
best part about it is they abbreviate Grand Prix just GP. Now it's just MF.
What?
Motherfucker.
It's gonna be like MF Seattle, motherfucking Seattle. Just every single one, just motherfucking.
You know
Seattle.
what? Send it.
Dude, I mean,
Better than Magic Fest.
Someone brought up a pretty interesting point though. Like they missed the opportunity here to just call them Magic Gatherings.
Ooh.
But then someone replied with, "Oh well, that would make it real hard to Google because then when you look up Magic Gatherings, Google would just be like Magic the Gathering."
Yeah, 404.
Yeah, it would just pull up.
Google for collapses.
Yeah, Google would just break. So
Yeah, but it sounds like you're going to a festival of just magicians.
Yeah.
yeah, I mean
Houdini fans.
Dudes dressed up like Houdini.
But there's still
Getting punched in the stomach.
It still is a Grand Prix. So that is one of the things that a lot of people were like, this is so dumb. It's just called Magic Fest. No. Magic Fest is like the all-around tournament, and then it's going to be the main event at the Magic Fest is going to be a Grand Prix.
Correct.
Or a Pro Tour. It's Magic Fest, but you're still going to a Grand Prix.
Right. And then there's going to be all those side events, the open events, the invite events.
Yes.
That are going to allow you to qualify for the Pro Tour, which really is the biggest change that I want to talk about personally is the change that they made to the PPTQ structure and how they basically took that structure away and they're just giving us essentially PTQs with a different name. You know what I mean? Different levels of PTQ.
Yeah, so you have open events with one PT slot, you have other open events with multiple Pro Tour slots, and then invite-only events with one.
Right. So, Rob, you're going to be playing more Magic now?
Of course.
Trying to get into these Pro Tours?
Yeah, and I mean, it's less grinding, too.
Talk louder, motherfucker. How about that?
It's less grinding, too. I'll just get closer to the mic. Is that much better?
Yeah.
At least you don't have to sit there and travel to different places over and over again, especially if you're not doing good. Because, I mean, we all know we've tilted. It happens.
Yeah.
It's magic.
Yeah, I just am excited to not have to, have the daunting task of playing in a PPTQ, playing an all-day thing, you know what I mean, grinding really hard, winning that, and then, now I have to go to another event at a different part of the country for me. It's probably going to be in Ohio or Indianapolis or Wisconsin.
Definitely.
And I have to go play in this, very low what's the word I'm looking for? Low economy event, you know what I mean? There's not going to be much of a prize structure at the RPTQs.
Yeah, it's just going to be like it's small shops, you know what I mean?
Right, and you get 4 players that are going to go to the Pro Tour from that. So you have good to go through 2 rounds of high-level competition to even make it to the Pro Tour. Somebody like me who wants to play on the Pro Tour eventually, that's crazy, you know what I mean? How am I supposed to do that realistically?
No, I mean, it opens up, I was talking to you before all this, it opens up a lot to people who don't have the opportunity all the time to play Magic, for one, find PPTQ,
right,
even qualify for that. So now you get more people going to more tournaments, bigger prize pool.
Well, and I want to talk about this. The PPTQ structure was bad also in the sense that there was a lot of players that would grind them just to get the prize packs, and then they would just give the invite to someone else, the RPTQ invite, because they knew they were never going to go to that, because why bother?
Yeah. My one problem with this whole change is that for the first half of 2019, we're not going to have a lot of these events outside of GPs and outside of these Magic Fests. They're not going to be hosted by a lot of smaller places, like the smaller stores that the smaller card shops that have like 8 people showing up for F&M or fewer, maybe like 10 or whatever.
Right. There's only really going to be a few stores that are going to be able to host these events. For at least the first 6 months, which honestly is not a bad thing because I really think Wizards needs to figure out how to do it right first, in the sense that you can't be now flooding the Pro Tour. You know what I mean? If every store gets like one of these open events where one person just qualifies for the Pro Tour, suddenly there's just like 1,000 more people on the Pro Tour. You know what I mean?
Right. But and the other thing is like it takes away from some of the money the smaller stores are going to be making too, because like when they host a PPTQ, like
well, it's going to force them to be more competitive, though.
Right? Yeah.
You can have a table at Magic Fest still.
Yeah.
Right.
It's not like smaller stores couldn't get in on the action.
Right. You need to promote yourself, and I don't like to say it's their fault, but the other stores, like, they've earned that spot. You know what I mean? There's a reason places like Nerd Rage and places like Pastimes and
they bring in
eventually
300-400
is going to get there. You know, he's like the next in line, I would guess. Yeah. You know, he's like the biggest game outside those 2 stores, probably in all of Illinois. You know, so he's going to be next in line for that. But places like the Goat and places like other smaller stores.
Your mom and pop.
Yeah, right. You know what I mean? Like Hot Sauce Games, they're not going to be getting them until, for a while.
They don't even have parking.
Right, they don't even have parking.
But yeah, the only problem I have with it is like places like, for example, like Dean's Dugout, where they're doing Magic because they're not making enough money off just baseball cards, right?
Right.
So
who's buying baseball cards still?
Nobody.
People are, but
old people.
But they host PPTQs because that's where they get their money from Magic, and so I think this is kind of cutting those people out of this here, and that's the one thing I don't like about it. But you said, it's competition.
Who knows?
I get it.
Because Wizards still has a lot more plans.
Right.
So who knows if they have plans for your local game shop? You know what I mean?
Right. And I do imagine that they do
and stuff like that.
Send it.
Like, they've been messing with F&Ms with the prize. You know, they were giving away the promo lands, and then they cut that crap out. Thank God. But I mean, hopefully with the changes in the pro side of Magic, they will have changes in the local games side of Magic. Because honestly, to tell you the truth, I mean, I enjoy watching the pro stuff. I do, and maybe this Magic Fest make people more enticed to go because they got all these cool side events. They got the artists.
Right.
They got all that other stuff. But I'm not a pro player right now.
It's got to be a top-down thing. You know what I mean? For Magic to really make this work, they have to make the top of the game work the best, right? You know what I mean? The pro players, if you're going to be a pro player, you deserve to be treated like a pro player. They need to make the stuff at the top of the game work before they can worry about your local game stores and all that type of shit. Because, that's what entices
your dude that wants to become a pro player. That's what entices them.
Right, they're going to say, wow, look at this. I saw this buddy of mine or one of my coworkers just like he randomly went to a pro tour, you know what I mean? Because he spiked an event. And that's how you make new players into the game, So
I think the pro scene definitely needs some new blood, 100%. We've seen the same pro players like Jerry Thompson or
LSV
or
Gary Thompson. I mean, dude,
Jerry.
I love
Jerry.
I love LSV, okay? I always will.
I will too. LSV's the man.
Jerry Thompson over here is the one who sparked all of this to happen too.
Yeah,
just by sitting out of Worlds. And I mean, how many of us
true Muhammad Ali of his time?
How many of us actually knew that Worlds was even going on?
Well, I mean, yeah.
I forgot Worlds was going on until that shit happened.
Until I saw the whole article on Jerry Thompson over here.
That's another thing.
I didn't know Worlds was...
I knew Worlds was going on, but did I watch Worlds? No.
Wizards is terrible with self-promotion.
Yeah.
That's another thing, too, that hopefully this... Okay, I'm always going to bring up the comparison of League of Legends to Magic the Gathering.
Right.
Going to. It's just the potential of the Twitch streaming, the ads, everything like that. Wizards, Hasbro should have taken advantage of this the moment Twitch became a thing. Start streaming, making pro players stream, all the time. Stuff like that. You see pro League of Legends players like Skara, Voyboy, they're still streaming,
Well, and look at the non-pro League players. Look at how much they get to interact with League itself. You know what I mean? I watch a lot of League of Legends streamers, and just the content creators. There's like League partner programs where they get special skins to give away to people.
Exactly, stuff like that.
Yeah,
promos.
Right. There's a whole bunch of different stuff that Wizards could do to enable these pros to not only make a living through Wizards and the Pro Tour, but enable them to make a living outside of Wizards with what we're just talking about, the streaming and the sponsorships.
And what about the people who have actually been streaming Magic the Gathering games, either via online or arena or even live games,
right,
that have been doing it for a year or two
content creators.
On Twitch?
They need to be rewarding them too, because that's free promotion for Wizards.
100%.
That's all that is. Yes, these guys, they make some money off of it, but if Wizards were to say, hey, we're gonna give you some codes for some mythics on Arena, you know 100%. What I mean? As long as you maintain X amount of subscribers during the month of June or whatever, and that incentivizes them to keep playing more Magic and streaming. It's a symbiotic relationship.
It is. It really is. Honestly, and with the whole Arena and stuff like that, they're gonna have to take advantage of all of it. They're gonna have to. That's why else would you take Magic from that basic online?
The Windows 95 version of MTG Online.
They seen Hearthstone,
and they're like, let's make Hearthstone just Magic style.
Yeah, let's do a card game right, like how it should be.
Right.
I'm
excited for the future of Magic. They're finally listening. You know what I mean? And Gary Thompson, he did what he did is gonna change Magic forever. You know what I mean? For going forward, Magic's going to be quite a different game. Whether that's a good thing or a bad thing, it remains to be seen.
Are you still going to make a living off Magic, though? No.
The very top people will. I think it's going to be more viable now as a pro lifestyle. I think it's going to be more viable.
If they get sponsors off Twitch, they ain't gonna make it from Wizards.
It's all going to depend on how much Wizards is going to really promote these players and going to work with sponsors to help get their players sponsored.
Right, so that's the thing. I was like, when I first heard about Jerry Thompson, that's what his name is now. Jerry Thompson.
Gare Bear.
When I first heard he was protesting, I'm like,
I
think he's protesting in the wrong place. I think when you look at let's say Fortnite, right? You look at Ninja. How much money does Ninja actually make from Fortnite itself? He makes $0. Fortnite does not pay him any money. It comes from his sponsors and winning tournaments.
Right.
So I thought initially he was looking in the wrong place to where he wants to get this money. And then Wizards just caved in and gave it to him, right? Well, not to him per se, but to the top 32 pros. For the year.
Yeah.
And so by not having the sponsors pay money or pay more to make these pro players have livable wages, these people are going out using their sleeves, deck boxes, wearing their gear, and they're not making livable wages off that. But then they're expected, because of that sponsor, to go out and play 7 days a week and go play all these big tournaments all the time, right?
Well, I think that it's the changes that this is going to affect. It's going to be the sponsors are going to have to pay more. You know what I mean? I think it's going to come to a point where their name value, if it carries, enough weight or not, they're going to be forced to pay them more. You know what I mean? Because it's going to become more competitive.
Or at least pay for a hotel and food.
It really all depends on how much Wizards is willing to, how much energy they're willing to put into this, right? Yeah. How much are they willing to push sponsors to, really pay these players more, and how much are the players going to push the sponsors? You know what I mean? That's the other side of the coin. These players have a lot of name value to them. The top 32, they should be paid as such. You know what I mean? Hey, man, we're streaming. We have your logo up on our stream. We're using your sleeves. Pay me more. You know, it's all business at that point.
I mean, I honestly, I think once it starts happening, it'll come naturally.
That's what I'm saying. Like it's a cause and effect. You know what I mean?
I'm agreeing with you. It'll. If you build it, they will come.
Right, exactly.
You know?
No, that's why I said initially I thought that, but taking some time to think about all of it, you know, Wizards paying their players now eventually will make the sponsors pay more, so that way these players can have livable wages off of the game and be able to play 7 days a week and play test and get together with their team and do whatever they need to do to make these new decks or go win the Pro Tour.
So there's a lot of potential for everything behind Magic the Gathering being open with the streaming and stuff like that. Like, you should be able to definitely find a company that can sponsor you. You know what I mean? Right. I think it opens up other companies too. Like you said, it's all this cause and effect. Now maybe more companies will make cooler stuff with.
Right. There's going to be more opportunity for these companies to come in with like the Magic Fest, for example. You know what I mean? There's going to be more companies like dice companies can come to these things more easily, and all these different artists and all these different merch suppliers can come in, and you know, it's going to be more access, more availability. I think that's really what this is all going to lead to. You know, does that make sense?
Yeah, I mean, there's, like I said earlier, not everyone's a pro player. Hell, not everyone's even into the pro scene, honestly.
Right, the majority of Magic players worldwide are just standard kitchen table commander players, right?
So if you're you play Dungeons and Dragons and you play Magic and you're a big Kev Walker fan, and he's at Magic Fest one year, I'm going to get my Kamal signed. That's going to be awesome. I'm going to go to Magic Fest. Hell, and then I can play some tournaments and then maybe go see a Pro Tour.
Right.
I mean, it does sound awesome. I think the Magic Fest is actually...
That'd be something I'd like to see.
Except
Wizards.
its name, I think it's going to be really awesome.
I was going to say, that'd be something I'd like to see Wizards and Hasbro in general kind of push more at the Magic events too, is not just Magic. Maybe like D&D, like you were just talking about, just get more people.
Even have D&D there and
right,
stuff like
just
that.
like here, have some side events.
Or have like a hybrid
shots.
D&D, but with, you know, Jace, and you could have
get more
character sheets
people on
of
it.
like planeswalkers and stuff like that. That would be really cool.
So one
Jinx. Poke.
So one of the things I am not a huge fan of is they're region locking GPs with connection to Pro Tours. So let's say I go to Grand Prix, I don't know, Baltimore, right? So now, let's say I win that Grand Prix.
Why would you go to Baltimore?
He just threw out the name.
Why is that the first place you think of?
Edgar Allan Poe lived in
Oh,
Baltimore.
you're so edgy. You're so gay.
Anyway, so let's say I go to Grand Prix Baltimore. I win the Grand Prix, right? Let's say the next Pro Tour is Pro Tour, I don't know, Copenhagen. Okay.
Copenhagen.
I don't get to go to that Pro Tour. I have to wait till the Pro Tour is back in the United States.
Oh yeah, that's actually kind of poopy.
Well, that's good for you actually, because they're not paying for your airfare. So do you want to go to Europe?
So, but the thing about that is, you know how every year they have one modern Pro Tour?
Right.
The next Pro Tour I qualify for could be a modern Pro Tour, even though I won a standard Grand Prix.
Well, that sucks to be you.
But see, that's my problem with it, right?
Well, I think you're looking at like... It's just one problem. I think that's not really a big issue, honestly.
Or let's say I go travel to Europe. So this was the example on here. Is if I qualify for
on Wizards website.
On Wizards website, it says if I qualify through Grand Prix Europe, I have to go to a Pro Tour that is in Europe.
Right.
So if I'm on vacation, let's say I'm on vacation, right? And it just so happens that I'm in Europe on vacation the same time Grand Prix something in Europe is there, right? I win that Grand Prix. Now I have to go to the Pro Tour in Europe again. So I have to take another trip out there and they're not paying for it.
Well, you know, here's the thing about that, like that's a really unlikely circumstance. Oh, I just happened to be in Switzerland, and there was a Grand Prix that I just randomly spiked. Oh, fuck! Now I have to come back to Europe.
Sell your
Wham! My penis,
or if
Crimea River.
If I actually planned my trip to Europe solely to go to this GP,
and then you won it, you're gonna have the revenue back to just put $3 of that grand aside from the paycheck.
Sponsored by someone in Europe.
Hey, look, I just won a Grand Prix. Who wants to send me to the Pro Tour? There's a million different things you can do.
Yeah.
I think you're looking for bads in this because you want it to be negative, Dan Horgan.
I don't want it to be negative.
Yes, you do, Dan Horgan.
I don't like this part as much. It's like I just don't like how
every Magic player.
I don't like how it's
God.
Every Magic player hates every Magic card ever made. Remember that.
Yes. I just don't like that it's region locked.
Black
Especially
Lotus, that card's terrible.
right.
0 mana.
So, hey, guys, let's move on here. I want to talk about how they're actually breaking down the structure now. So, the way that it's working, to get to the Pro Tour, there's going to be 3 different ways to do it. 4, pardon me. Holy shit, that's one more than 3.
Don't know how to count.
So, you can win a Grand Prix. Pretty easy, you know what I mean? Just win. Like Dan was talking, I just happened to be in Europe and randomly spike Grand Prix.
Copenhagen.
Randomly spike Copenhagen.
Wait, is it just win a Grand Prix or is it top 8 a Grand Prix?
I don't know, but if you
believe it's top
randomly,
8.
even still, randomly top 8ing a European Grand Prix, suck my dick, okay?
I'm gonna do it
now. You're gonna suck my dick now? Okay,
No.
good.
I'm gonna win a random European Grand Prix.
So, open events. I don't even. What the fuck was the open event? That's like your that's, for lack of a better term, it's a PTQ. You know what I mean? It's just you win this event, you go to the Pro Tour.
Yep.
Now there's open events with multiple Pro Tour slots. I'm sure those are gonna be like the big one. You know what I mean? Like we're gonna have this one at a convention hall type of event. We're expecting like 500, 600 people.
Modern or standard.
Right, something good like that. And then the invite-only events, which is 1 Pro Tour slot, that's going to be like the Grinder tournament.
It's gonna be
Gary
like
Jerry
RBTQ.
Compton's
Yeah.
on that one.
Yeah, good Jers.
You Jer Bears?
No, that's going to be Sam Black.
Yeah, he always just like
Dude, he crushes local tournaments.
yeah.
Crushes them rudely. He's angry when he crushes them. He's like, he comes in, he dominates the room, and then he's like, I'm Sam Black. I do me.
Yeah, so,
No split.
it would be really great if Brian was here right now because, so any of you who don't know, we're calling out Brian Atkins here. He was at
Pussy whipped.
GP, like, Milwaukee or something like that. Maybe it was an open in Milwaukee. And he sits down across from Sam Black, and he has a fiery temper in his hand, where if he just fiery tempers Sam Black's creature, he wins the game. Because, like, he can't win. But he waits till after Sam Black's untap step in his upkeep and goes fiery temper, and Sam Black responds with make a stand
Oh, Jesus.
and swings for lethal.
Oh!
What an asshole, Brian.
So Brian, if he would have just done it like in his main phase or his end step while Sam was still tapped out, Brian just won.
Always play your spells when your opponent's tapped out.
Yeah. Always sorcery speed.
Yes,
Dude, that's all this whole next set's gonna be about, is sorcery speed.
Unless you're playing Bant Nexus.
No, even then
excited
you're gonna
for
be playing
Standard.
on your own turn.
But not at sorcery speed. You're going to be playing at end step.
I don't care.
Standard has
It's
gotten
my turn.
Standard has gotten like a lot crazier since Ixalan.
I don't even want to talk about the pro point thing. Honestly,
No, it's how they're making money.
I don't even care. They shouldn't be paid by Wizards. This is terrible. I don't know why we're even
I'm gonna
doing
have to
this
agree.
podcast.
I'm gonna have to agree.
I agree.
I'm gonna have to agree. Wizards shouldn't be playing these dudes
It
at
should
all.
be their sponsors.
Yes.
No, they should be paying the tournaments more.
Exactly.
They should be taking that money and investing it into the prize pools of the Grand Prix. They shouldn't be paying these assholes who grind out. Well, I mean, okay, granted, they deserve the pro status. They deserve to like get 2 buys at every Grand Prix. You know what I mean? That's your win. 3 buys, whatever the fuck.
That's what it is.
That's
for
what
pros.
you deserve that shit. You get a real big head start. you're already winning these events. You're
Because
top
those are the
32ing. You're
players
getting
people wanna
these.
see.
You're top 8ing all these events a lot. You need to just accept that. You know what I mean? Like, you're getting quite a bit of money, and if you're good enough at the game, the money will come. You know what I mean? Like, it's a good thing that they're getting paid. Wizards shouldn't be putting money directly into their pocket, though.
No, because
Yeah,
that is
they're
really
not
the one-
employees of Wizards of the Coast.
Right, that's the one thing that I really hate about this is that Wizards is basically cutting a check to like the best players. You know,
100%.
I mean, the rest of it is great. You know what I mean? I think that they nailed it. They got the fucking nail on the head
With Magic Fest. And
with
all that
Magic
stuff.
Fest and Grand Prix and
Other than the
Opens.
Other than the name.
Other than the name is real fucking lame. Boo Wizards.
Houdini Fest.
Houdini Fest.
I just love the fact that I get to call it like
Houdini Fest.
MF Indianapolis.
Why can't you just call it like MTG Fest or something like that?
Wizards Con.
No. No, that's just as bad as Magic Fest. Wizard Con. Makes me think of like Mickey Mouse with his big ass
It's just
hat.
WizCon.
Now it just makes me think of P.
That's exactly what I was going for.
Oh, well, I caught that.
Oh.
Oh.
Giggity.
But yeah, so I think we'll take a break here.
Yeah, I think we're going to take a quick break, guys.
But before we do, we're going to tell you about
Our sponsor.
our sponsor, Gamestorm, in Lamont, 1243 State Street in Lamont, Illinois. Come join us for
The
pre-release. For the pre-release, Friday, January 18th at midnight. Saturday, January 19th at 1 p.m. Saturday, January 19th at 7 p.m., which is going to be a two-headed giant. Sunday, January 20th at 1 p.m. is just one player, and then Sunday, January 20th at 7 p.m. is two-headed giant. We might be streaming that.
Trying.
We haven't really figured that one out yet. We're going to stream either that or Modern. I think people would really much rather see...
Are we
A
doing
two-headed
modern?
giant?
the
I would
two-headed
love to see a
giant?
two-headed giant.
Wait. Are we doing modern the same night?
Yes, he always does. But there won't be enough spots. But anyway, so the cost is
No one's going to be playing
$25.
I was going to say.
Yeah, it's $25 for a single event. If you get to a second event, it'll be $48, so you get a $2 discount. A third event will be $66, so you get a $4 discount. Or no, that's like that's more.
Don't do math, dude.
And then
Just
it'll
read.
be $84 if you go to the fourth event, and if you go to all 5 events, it will be $100.
It is a great
Iron Man.
fucking deal. Get your ass out to
You
Gamestorm.
get a free event for that one. And then, yeah, if you do the Iron Man, you'll be in a raffle to win a playmat and promo cards.
Iron Man.
There'll be raffles. There'll be raffles at every single one of these things with random promo events, random promo giveaways and stuff like that. You can register by phone at 630-243-9330, in-store or through Facebook Messenger if you message John Bertulis. And you don't have to bring a partner for Two-Headed Giant, but it's ideal if you do.
Yeah, you might get left out, or you'll end up with somebody who's never played before.
So we'll be back.
Yep. Welcome back, everybody.
Yeah. so our next topic is going to be cheating in Magic.
And pieces of shit
Like this guy,
fucking cheat at a card game.
Alex
Infamous
Bertoncini.
And honestly, to tell you the truth, it happens. It happens a lot.
Yeah, it happens a lot, and a lot of people are really good at it, so you don't catch it.
Gotta pay attention.
Or people will draw extra cards. We've caught not necessarily people cheating, but people drawing extra cards by accident. I mean, we don't know if it's by accident. They could be cheating. I don't know.
Or when they do
I'm
that,
not there.
Or when they do that one thing where you pull a top card too fast, and the card below it sticks because
Yeah.
of suction.
Yeah.
I mean, like, obviously,
They kind
there's,
of like
there's
see it or like
right.
Oh, shit,
sometimes there's mistakes. Everyone makes them. Like, I know I've like gone to go fetch a land and like fetched a land that I couldn't fetch by accident because I was just
Right.
like not thinking about it.
Mistakes happen, but there's patterns, you know what I mean? There's
Yeah.
difference between, oh, my bad, I forgot how that worked, or I grabbed the wrong thing on accident, Or I didn't know how this card worked. You know, there's just tons of different examples of that because Magic's a very hard game. You know, it's not an easy game, and you're not going to get it right. There's a lot going on.
There's a lot to pay attention to.
There's a lot to pay attention to. Miss triggers all the time. That's not cheating. You know, that's just people are dumb. You know what I mean? But really, at the end of the day, people miss triggers. They do all types of shit they're not supposed to do. But that's not cheating. You know what I mean? There's a difference between cheating and, you know, honest mistakes. And that's what we're talking about here is people like Mr. Bertoncini and you know, he just was received a lifetime ban from Wizards and the DCI. Well done, Wizards. It's about fucking time.
He's been on video been caught
several times,
and this has been happening since like 2014 or so. So it's been happening.
I think earlier than that.
Right, it's been happening since before. I've been playing Magic. Actually,
I think it's the first time he ever got caught was the one where he had the extra land.
Yeah.
That was on Star City?
Yeah.
So let's break down what finally triggered this lifetime ban here from Wizards. So he was found colluding with somebody at a PTQ or...
It was at a PTQ,
yeah.
But this is not confirmed that this is what happened because they don't know if this actually was reported to DCI or not.
Well, this is like it happened. That happened, and then within how long?
I think it was 3 days.
Yeah, within 3 or 4 days, he's got a lifetime ban. So that's clearly what happened. You know what I mean?
We think that's what happened.
Like that's you can just make an honest observation. Like it's alleged, but it's an honest observation.
He was also given game rules violations in I think the GP and in the PTQ.
Right.
So I think those played into it more so than this collusion. Right.
Well,
and I think there was another incident with him 2 years ago about shuffling or something like that. I mean, that guy in particular is an infamous terrible cheater, and I'm pretty sure didn't he win he came in first place cheating? He won a major tournament.
Oh yeah,
he won $10,000 or something like that, right?
He's won a lot. So when he was in Los Angeles last year in August, he made the top 8 of a Grand Prix and was booed by everyone in the room.
Right, because they all fucking hate him.
Right, and they knew this guy didn't get here and because he deserves it. This guy got here because he cheated and didn't get caught.
Right, he's figured out how to do it basically perfectly.
Right. And so we see a few players who are like this. You know, there's been I think we had up the lifetime bans or all the suspensions from DCI are all posted on one website, and there was probably 40 people on there.
Right.
Some of them were lifetime. There was not actually a lot of lifetime bans. There was only about 10 or so lifetime bans, and then 30-year-long, 2-year-long suspensions.
Right.
And those, this guy, Alex, has been served 3 suspensions now.
Wizards needs to be...
And now this is his final, this is it. They finally banned him.
That's too long. You know, Wizards needs to be way more harsh on cheaters.
Right.
It's out of control. You know, it feels bad going to a Grand Prix, and I'm sorry, I'm going to go off on a tangent here for just a second. It feels really bad going to a Grand Prix and having to sit across from my opponent, not looking at them as a person, but looking at them as somebody that I have to watch like they're trying to fraud me. Because a lot of the players who go to these bigger events are trying to do that, and that's what you hear a lot. And this is one of the more unspoken things about Magic, but there's so much cheating at the high level that...
Yeah, 100%.
Right. I don't like to go to the Grand Prix for that reason because I feel I'm not trained well enough to catch these guys who are so good at cheating they're going to be doing it every game. Or you know what I'm saying? And I know that I'm being a bit of an exaggeration. There's a bit of an exaggeration going on here.
There are things you can do.
But you know what I'm saying? But it happens so much that it's not feasible for Wizards to continue going down this road the way it is. They really need to start cracking down harder on people that get caught confirmed cheating.
Best things you can do so you don't get cheated: pay attention to your opponent's lands and turns. Always cut their deck, even if they don't present it.
Shuffle it.
Shuffle their deck.
Shuffle. Don't riffle shuffle it though, because that just makes you a dick.
Well, and here's the thing, guys. You don't have to apply this to your local FNMs. You know what I mean? We're talking strictly for your competitive RELs. You know, if you're at your local Gamestorm, SCG, standard game night, you don't have to sit there and be Mr. Tournament try hard.
No.
You know what I mean? But when you go to the bigger events, you do have to be that guy.
These are simple things though to remember, easy things to just remember. So it gives you a better chance of not getting cheated. And then anytime they search for anything or cut their deck, if you see them shuffle and go through their deck, you shuffle their deck right after it.
Right, you cut their deck.
Exactly. Yeah. All right, so you don't make sure, and then
make sure you know how many cards are in your opponent's hand at all times.
100%. Oh yeah,
that's
a big one. Make sure you watch their land drops.
Especially if they're drawing a lot. If you're playing if you're playing against any kind of blue player, they're gonna draw an ass ton of cards. Always pay attention to them tapping the mana for that.
And
always.
Then, like if let's say like my opponent casts Chemist's Insight, right? Typically what I do, unless I'm playing against someone I know really well that I know is not going to do those things to me, I'm going to say, how many cards do you have in hand before they draw? And then right afterwards, I'm going to say, how many cards do you have in hand?
Right.
Because if it's more than 2 than what they just said, they clearly drew too many cards. And I can go, hey, you drew too many cards. How they would settle it is, like competitive wise, they would let me either make them shuffle their whole hand or whatever, or they would present their hand to me. I would get to see their whole hand, so I get a free Thoughtseize, and I get to pick one card out of it and put it into their graveyard or back into their deck.
Right.
But always call a judge too.
Yes.
Always call a judge.
If you don't feel comfortable with what's going on and you feel like your opponent's being shady or you don't understand a ruling, don't trust your opponent, guys. Guys will try to cheat you such an easy way. They will try to prey upon your ignorance to the rules, and I don't say ignorance in a bad way. That's just really how it is. There's a lot of nuances to this game that you guys don't understand. You know what I mean? There's a lot of stuff to this game I don't understand. So
it's a simple game to learn, hard game to master.
Correct. Yeah. It's one of the hardest card games out there for that reason, but that's why it has so much sustainability. So.
Yeah. And like the big thing you'll hear from a lot of players, if they're trying to cheat you or trying to get you to believe that the ruling they're giving you is correct, they go, I would know, I'm a level 1 judge, and it's like, I don't care if you're a level 1 judge. There's a
you're
judge
not the
here.
Level 1 judge now.
You're not the level 1 judge or the level 2 or 3 judge that's here right now judging this event.
You're not the judge here.
Clap on.
But that's the kind of person you want to go, let me get the judge who's judging this tournament, regardless of if you're a judge or not. I don't care. Someone pulled that. It was back in like Shadow's time. And so do you guys remember Gisela and Bruna when they flipped into Brazella? So when they exile, they check before they exile and when they enter the exile to turn into Brazella, right? So someone said, if I kill one in response to the exile, they both get exiled. And I'm like, that is not how it works, bud. It works so that way they both go to exile. They check to see if they're both in exile. If one's not there with it because it got exiled from another spell or killed from another spell, the other one's going to come back.
Right.
It doesn't have any ETB effects. It just acts as if it were still on the battlefield, like nothing happened.
Correct.
And so someone was doing that, and he's just like, yeah, I'm a level 1 judge. I know this. And like whoever the player was, this was back when Gamestorm was at the old store.
Okay.
And they turned to me, and I think there was another player with me who knew the rules, and they turned to us and they're like, is that right? And I'm like, I'm fairly certain it's not right, but let me check Gatherer. Just to be sure.
Always check Gatherer.
Because that's going to give you the answer 99% of the time.
Gatherer
Sometimes
is
there's
a significant source of information.
Yeah. So Gatherer, like, you can't pull that up at a big event. You're not allowed to do that. That's what judges are. That's why you have judges at big events.
Correct.
They're
the Gatherers.
This is for your Friday Night Magic.
This is for your Friday Night Magic.
No one knows it, or the guy who runs your shop really is not that savvy at the current cards.
Right. Like, so John, like, will always refer to a lot of the players at Gamestorm. He'll refer to, like, me or James Bush, or a few other guys and be like, hey, do you know the rulings here? We're pretty good about being on top of them, or if we don't know them, just checking Gatherer.
Right.
Just to make sure we're right. Even if I know the ruling, I always want to check Gatherer in case someone says, well, are you sure that's correct? And I could be like, yeah, here, check this out.
Right.
Like, here's the official ruling in case you don't believe me. Especially because I'm not, like, a certified judge.
Right. You gotta always just be minding your P's and Q's in that regard.
Yeah. Another one of the people who got disqualified for I wouldn't call it cheating, but did you guys hear about the Daniel Ward incident?
No.
Explain.
He was at either a Pro Tour or a GP. I can't remember which one it was.
One
and
of those big ones.
It was a big event, right?
Yeah.
And so it was for Modern. His opponent cast a meddling mage, and Dan Ward said it resolves. So once it resolves, the trigger happens. Or you have an ETB trigger, and then, he said the ETB trigger resolves. He named a card that was on the battlefield. I think it was like an Oblivion Ring or something like that. And so he then said, in response to that, because he was naming that card, said, in response to you naming the card, let me activate it and blow everything up. But the problem is, you have to do it in response to the trigger.
Right.
Not after the guy names it. And so Dan Ward, he's a great guy, but he said to the judges, oh, I did not know how it worked. For those of you who don't know, Daniel Ward is a professional player.
Right.
He plays at the Pro Tour almost every year. He's a great guy. He donates, he'll win packs and stuff from big events, and he'll just give them out.
Yeah.
He'll give out to a bunch of people. He's a great guy in that sense, but that does not fly. The judges know you're a pro player.
They know how that trigger resolves.
And because you're
an asshole.
because you're a pro player, you're held to a higher standard.
Correct.
100%.
Regardless, if you don't know the thing, then you need to call a judge over.
Right.
The judge will give you the right answer. But if you're a pro player,
that's why the judge is there.
Right.
They are getting
Exactly.
paid a little bit of money, so.
Yeah. But if I go to an event and I don't know how something works and I want to respond like that, I'm shit out of luck if I didn't call a judge over prior to it happening.
Correct.
Oh yeah, you're SOL definitely.
Right, because
that ruling.
what my opponent's going to do is, what the judge is going to do is ask the opponent, go, do you want this to happen this way? And your opponent's probably going to go, no, I want to win the game.
Yeah.
Right? If someone came up to me and said, oh, do you want your opponent's trigger to resolve? No.
Fuck no.
No. Why would I want my opponent's trigger to resolve?
Sorry that my opponent forgot their trigger.
Right.
Yeah.
And in a sense though, competitive REL, you and your opponent are responsible for triggers.
Correct.
It's not just you. We saw it on Sunday. I don't remember who it was, but they failed to let their opponent know that Ghost Quarter lands enter untapped.
Oh yeah.
And so I took off my headphones because I'm sitting next to the table, and I said, hey, you have to remind your opponent just once. You don't have to remind them every single time it happens. Just once. And in this match, you have to remind your opponent, hey, that Ghost Quarter land enters untapped.
Right.
Because it's your card that's affecting a board state. You have the responsibility to let your opponent know.
Right, it's not the card. The opponent isn't doing something to themselves. It's
Right.
your card. So yeah, it is your responsibility to make those triggers resolve properly.
Right, and that in a sense is cheating.
Right.
It all comes back to
it's
this,
it's intentional negligence of the rules.
Right,
Exactly. Which is it's not cheating in the sense of
It's like lying by omission.
or playing more lands or anything.
I
like
plead
that.
the fifth.
Exactly. Yeah, lie of omission. That's a good one.
Yeah. Haven't heard that one in a while, have you? Ever since your ma told you, right?
Right, that's what I was thinking. Oh my god, that's definitely a.
You're just
thing.
lying by omission.
Right, that's how they get you. That's how they get to you.
Yeah,
make you feel guilty.
Sorry, mom.
I'm a piece of shit.
Yeah,
I'm gonna go sit in my room and listen to Nickelback and System of a Down.
Oh god.
Yeah,
Right,
I'm 14.
So I have the official thing for Alex. His first run-in for getting caught cheating was at SCG Kansas City in 2011. That's when he played the additional land.
2011.
Told you.
Think about that shit, guys. That's 8 fucking years ago.
Yeah. Ugh.
That's
Oh,
so
no.
bad.
He played a third land.
Wow.
Okay.
He played a third one because he played Explore.
Okay, there you go.
He played Explore, played his land off Explore, played his land for turn prior to casting the Explore, drew his card, and then played the third land, going, yeah, this is my additional land off the Explore.
Jeez.
He's a cheating piece of trash.
Yeah,
And that's why he got banned.
Yeah, so I remember it. He put the land in at instant speed between casting the spell and drawing the card.
Yeah.
So his opponent wouldn't catch it. And that's something people will do. It's
But
you're
here's
kind
the
of
thing,
focused
too,
on this
though.
card,
Someone brought it up to him. They brought it up. They said what was going on. The dude right next to him, I'm pretty sure it was a judge.
Yep.
The judge brought it up, said, how'd you get that land out there? And he came, he said what you just said, and his opponent was just like, yeah. See, that's why you got to pay attention to your opponent's board state.
It's so bad, man.
At all
It's
times.
just so bad.
At all times. And cheating happens on the pro level, ridiculous amounts.
You know, I would like
It's
to
easy
say,
to
though,
go on
guys,
YouTube.
I would like to say, I think we've talked about cheating enough. Let's get back to something a little more positive.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah. So I would like to talk about some more spoilers for a minute.
Ooh, love spoilers.
Specifically, the masterpieces. My God,
They're
these
gorgeous,
things
though. And
are
they're going to be in
gorgeous.
foil, too. Just imagine them foil.
Oh, God.
So we're looking at them right now, and they're
Look at that
just...
Teferi.
Oh, I know.
But that's like the second time they did a full art.
I don't
Teferi.
care. I don't.
I like the other full art one better.
I like this one better, honestly.
I just don't like the green.
That's why I like it. I like the green.
I like that raw.
Scroll down for me, my man. I like the Gavraska. Karn looks sweet.
Soren Markov, Tamio Moonsage,
Baby Karn.
Demori looks crazy.
Damaria.
Demori.
Demori.
We're getting a Johnny Mentor of Heroes here.
Terrible.
Just -8 gain 100
Dumb.
life.
Terrible.
Kaya.
Kaya looks
Dag
sweet.
That does look
I love
sweet.
that dude's name.
Ooh, that Dak Faden's gonna be like $8,000.
Yeah, I like that.
All right, so what's the spoilers?
We got this card.
Well, every card in the set is balls.
Yeah.
Yeah, so like...
No,
this
they're
card-
all actually really good.
Yeah, this card's kind of cool. This is like a bad version of...
Clamor Shaman.
On crop crash.
Yeah.
On crop crasher. This is like
So-
it's a 1/1 version of him
Oh, it's what? It's 3 mana, 2 colorless, 1 red.
to make a 1/1 that has either haste or a +1/+1 counter on it.
I mean, it's pretty sweet though, but yeah.
Yeah.
That's a lot of
This
mana.
is a card I found really interesting. It's called Cavalcade of Calamity. Whenever a creature, so it's 1 colorless and a red. Whenever a creature you control with 1 power or less attacks, this deals 1 damage to target player or planeswalker
Cavalcade.
that creature is attacking. Yeah, I just didn't want to repeat that name
Say
again.
that 10 times fast.
Yeah,
Cavalcade of Calamity.
Yeah,
That's not fast.
Shut up.
but yeah, so like I think that's a real interesting card. Like
It seems bad.
it seems bad, but I think it's interesting. You know, it reminds me of.
I mean, that's actually pretty sweet.
I mean, it's only a 2
What are you talking about? That's actually, dude, that's pretty...
I don't like
That's
red
pretty
cards.
sweet, man. Whatever, whether you're not
Don't
like
tell
red cards,
them. Don't
are you
tell
playing
them.
You're playing a 1/1 goblin
trying
deck.
to bury
You're
it.
playing goblin deck. Oh my god.
Shut up. I'm trying to bury the card, Rob.
That's a good card. I like
I don't
it.
want the stupid mono red players to be playing
I
that
love
card.
mono red.
Yeah, you guys heard me. You're stupid.
Yeah, whatever.
What about this one?
I want to read Forbidding Spirit.
But I want to read this one first.
No, that card's
You're
bad.
just jealous that red
pretty
players whoop
decent,
ass
actually.
fast.
No, it actually is pretty decent.
Yeah, just like
Alright, so what is
4 mana, let me take your Carnage
Yeah.
Tyrant, give it +2/+0 haste, and then sacrifice it.
Take 9 at instant speed.
That is fucking outrageous.
You can do it at the end step.
For only 4 mana?
Yeah,
That's pretty outrageous, honestly.
yeah.
That's a great card.
I like it.
Yeah. What
Oh.
are some other good...
So this Forbidding Spirit is just
When Forbidding Spirit
It's-
enters the battlefield
it's
until your
propaganda.
next turn, it's only until your next turn, but if
it's
you can flip
propaganda
it.
for a turn.
Yeah. On a 3/3.
Yeah,
Forbidding Spirit enters the battlefield.
I don't know, it seems bad, honestly.
yeah. It's propaganda
Until
for a turn.
your next
Yeah, I didn't
turn,
read it was only
attack.
1 turn. 'Cause,
Yeah. What is this?
Domri's Nodorog.
Oh, it's from one of those
Yeah, the dual deck.
dual decks. Bad card.
Garbage.
Oh, dude, read
Shit away.
Persistent Petitioners. Oh my god, scroll down. No. Look at that card. That is my favorite card in the set.
Alright, 1 colorless, 1 blue for 1/3. Pay 1, tap it. Target creature puts the top card of their library onto their graveyard. Target player is a creature.
Oh,
Tap 4
oh.
Hold on, read it out loud, Rob.
Tap 4 untapped advisors you control. Target player puts the top 12 cards of their library into their graveyard. A deck can have any number of cards named persistent. Oh my god.
Yeah,
So it's Relentless
So-
Rats for Mill.
I love it.
That's awesome.
I love it
I
too,
love it.
dude. It's my favorite card in the entire set.
So are you doing
I'm gonna do a deck with it.
Mono blue.
Yeah.
Mono blue, just that card.
Well, it's gonna be mono blue with him, and then like, what's that blue legendary guy that like, makes all your 1 power dudes unblockable?
Tetsuko.
Yeah, just cause now I have an
like that.
army of 1/3 unblockables.
I mean, 1/3 is actually that's a pretty beefy.
It's a body for
That's a
2
pretty
mana.
beefy body right there, man. Actually,
Dude,
That's
there's
a lot
gonna be
of-
some people playing like white aggro decks.
Dude, I would
and
definitely
red
chuck
aggro
that in
decks
the
that
deck
run
for
into the
sure.
persistent petitioners idiot at the
Yeah,
the
the
FNM,
only
and they're
problem
gonna be
is-
like, what do I do against tribal 1/3s?
The only problem is that this just loses to Nexus of Fate.
Nah, just oh yeah, it does.
Yeah, because it just gets
Well,
shuffled
that's
back.
why you just play some exile effects. There's plenty of them in the format.
Oh, you have to counter exile.
Well, you don't have to play mono blue.
Yeah, you have to.
You can also like exile cards out of their graveyard. There's like card
Yeah, but you can
effects
never
that-
exile Nexus of Fate out
You
of
know
their
what?
graveyard.
Shut
It never
up.
hits their
Okay,
graveyard.
I get it. But like if you're playing
Devious
Nexus
cover
of
up. You have to
Fate-
play 4 Devious cover up. That's
Next-
the only answer.
You know what? Shut up, Dan. We're moving on. You've ruined my hopes and dreams.
Thanks for ruining
Yeah,
it.
thanks.
What about
all the fun.
Yeah.
Collision?
Fucking what blanket, Dan?
What about Collision Colossus? Collision for 1 and then a hybrid green or red. Collision deals 6 damage to target creature with flying for 2 mana at instant speed. Seems
That's
good. Let's answer them Lyras or them Doom Whisperers.
pretty sweet
And then
loaded.
for 2 mana, does it say +1 or
No, +4.
That's disgusting. Cool. For a red and a green, target creature gets +4/+2 and gains trample till end of turn.
Instant speed.
Instant speed.
No, it's a very solid card, and I think it'll be seeing a lot of play.
Yeah.
It's got utility and it's got
Get pooped
aggro,
on.
so... this card I was not a fan of, honestly.
What is this one? Oh, it's all
Repudiate,
French.
Replicate.
But we have Stifle now for 2 mana.
Yeah, why do you want 2 mana Stifle?
I don't. Yeah,
I don't really
like
even
this
want a
card.
1 mana stifle sometimes. Tell you the truth.
I like Biogenic Ooze.
Yeah, when Biogenic Ooze enters the battlefield, create a 2/2 Ooze creature token. At the beginning of your end step, put a 1/1 counter on each Ooze you control.
Which includes itself.
Yep, and it's 3 mana. It's 5 mana total. 3 colorless, 2 green. For 1 green and 3. Sorry, 1 colorless, 3 green. You can create a 2/2 green Ooze creature token,
So...
and he's a 2/2.
This card is gonna probably see play because at worst it's 5 mana to make 2 3/3s, right? So and it infinitely scales. Like that's the thing. You make a 2/2 every turn, which is gonna be a 3/3 at the least. And then if you get to untap with this thing, your creatures are gonna be huge, and there's gonna be a lot of them. So I really like this card. I think it'll find a home. You know what I mean?
It'll be for fringe play though. I think it'll be tiny little play.
This is a card some people were really just like
Captive
dumbfounded by.
audience.
I mean,
it enters the battlefield under your opponent's control, and then it like demonic packs.
right. There's a Rakdos mid-range in the format that I think will probably play this card out of boards for longer grindy matchups because it does have 3 very relevant effects. You know what I mean? Their life total becomes 4, they discard their hand, and each opponent creates 5 2/2 black zombies. So let me read the card real quick for anybody who doesn't know what it does. Captive Audience, 5 colorless, black and red. Enchantment. Captive Audience enters the battlefield under the control of an opponent of your choice. At the beginning of your upkeep, you choose one of the 3 things that I said. They do. So it's basically a pick your poison over 3 turns, and you'll eventually lose the game. To those 3 effects, yeah. So, yeah, like I said, it'll find a home out of boards, I think.
Yeah, like a
it could be a
one-of.
build around, too.
Like a 1/of.
Like, if you want to build around the card, I could see it.
2/of.
Yeah, just like a way to cheat it out or
I
something.
guess.
Right.
Yeah.
Like that
Well, you don't
with
even
like
need to. You
Joda.
can just play a removal control game until you play that card. That card will just win the game.
I mean that is a
You know what I
100% win
mean?
Condition.
Yeah, it's a win condition on a card. So.
It's also probably going to be a super cheap mythic too.
right. It's gonna be
probably-
cheap.
Probably like $1, $2 tops.
What about Incubation Druid? I like this card.
So read it out for
So
us.
it's 1 and a green. It's an elf druid.
For 0/2.
For a 0/2, you tap, add 1 mana of any type that a land you control could produce. If Incubation Druid has a +1/+1 counter,
Ooh.
a +1/+1
Oh.
counter on it, add 3 mana of that type instead.
Holy
and it has
shit.
Adapt for 5 mana. 3 colorless and 2 green. Adapt 3.
That's pretty crazy.
Right. So
it
if you
turns
can
into
get
a
1 counter on it.
3/5. If you for 5 mana it turns into 3/5, that makes 3 mana.
Right.
So how are we
But-
putting a counter on it?
You have a Johnny.
Okay.
You have the indestructible thing that puts a 1/1 counter. That
I'm
also
only
has
doing
elves on it.
consistently on turn 2 and turn 3.
Definitely turn 3 you can.
Well, I was gonna say like turn 3. What's gonna be your best way to do it?
probably the 2 mana. It's like It's like 2 hybrid. It's like a green or white, and then it's like put 1/1 counter on target creature. It gains indestructible for a turn. The other half's like make a bunch of elf.
Okay.
That one.
And then you have 3 mana as well. Man, that's crazy.
Or on turn 3, like you can tap that and then play a Johnny and then put a counter on it and put a counter on another creature that you played, like your Llanowar Elves.
You remember, it is 2 mana for 0/2 that does add 1 still.
Right,
Yeah.
no, I get that.
what I
Like,
mean?
it does ramp. I'm just saying, like, what are the most
I get ramp into
efficient
it.
ways to get it going, like, on turn 3 so you can use that explosive burst of mana before it dies?
Yeah.
Like, that's where I'm coming from.
Yeah.
Yeah, I definitely think there's a bunch of different ways in green and white that you could do it.
Okay.
Like
If-
Triumph of Gerard could work.
Okay. I
Like
can
the
get
saga
behind
where you
that.
just like
Yeah.
put a counter on it, give it every like additional.
You see, that's cards I'm looking
you know?
for with this type of thing.
How much
Things-
mana is that one?
It's 2.
2 mana.
Oh.
It's 1 and a white.
Yeah,
and
it's a
sticks
saga.
for 3 turns. You know.
Ooh.
Yeah.
That sounds actually like doable.
Right, that's what I'm
Hella
saying. Like,
doable.
that's something that impacts the board and it's going to stick
Saga
around.
Freyalise as well puts counters on everything, and then they all like the
On
first
the
2 are
third turn.
right, but they all tap for mana the first 2, and then the third one they all get
Still.
a counter and
Well,
every.
then you don't
keyword.
even need the mana at that point. That's the thing. Like, why are we...
Because it sticks around longer than 1 turn.
Well, here's my thing. Like, my assertion to you is how are we putting a counter on this creature
His
fast
first
enough?
choice was a better one.
Yeah, the
No,
Triumph of Gerard.
I'm just saying like that is another thing that puts
Right.
counters. I'm not
I
saying
like
that's-
Hero of Precinct 1.
Yeah.
Read
I
it
like
out
that
for me,
one.
Dan.
Whenever you cast a multicolored spell, create a 1/1 white human creature token. It's a 2/2 for 1 colorless and
Ooh.
a white. And it's a human warrior, so just,
Good creature.
Yeah. So one card I've looked at was Priest of Forgotten Gods.
I was just about to
Yes.
ask you about that card. That card seems
I-
very interesting to me.
So I just love its effect. So it's 1 colorless and a black for a 1/2. You tap it, sacrifice 2 other creatures. Any number of target players each lose 2 life and sacrifice a creature. You add 2 black and draw a card.
So there's a way to mess this card up. There has to be. You know what I mean?
Yeah, no,
there
there's gonna
has
be,
to be a way to
like-
break this card.
You
I'm
just need a
not
way to
smart enough
you
figure it
need
out.
a way to untap it, and that's it. But
Yeah.
like by even like just like your opponent plays Carnage and they have nothing else out, you just go, I'm gonna tap this, sacrifice 2 tokens.
Right.
You sack that Carnage and lose 2 life. I'm gonna get 2 black and I'm gonna draw a card.
Jeez.
And then you're like, you still have a hand? Let's make you pitch some cards or something. Like,
Yes.
like it seems really good.
Yes.
Here
Dovin's
is-
Acuity is a card I like a lot.
Yes.
So this is basically the Azorius equivalent to Disinformation
Yes.
campaign. 1 white and blue for a total of 3 mana of enchantment. When Dovin's Acuity enters the battlefield, you gain 2 life and draw a card. Whenever you cast an instant spell during your main phase, you may return Dovin's Acuity to your owner, to its owner's hand. So we saw that the mechanic for Azorius is Addendum, which is going to force you to be playing those spells during your main phase to be getting the max value. So the Wizards is trying to play like a tap out deck. You know what I mean? Like you can play this on 3 and then on 4 draw 2 cards with Sphinx's Insight and gain 2 life and return this card to your hand. You know what I mean? And they're trying to make you play more of a tap out main phase Azorius grind out game. You know what I mean? I like that strategy when you get to play Teferi and untap those lands.
100%.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Fairy's still a boss.
Here's a card that I am not fucking excited for at all.
Skewer the critics.
Go ahead, Rob. This one's all yours, buddy.
2 colorless for 1 red.
Sorry.
2
Sorcerer's
colors for
Fee.
1 red.
2 colorless and 1 red. Or you can cast it for its spectacle costs of just 1 if you have dealt damage this turn. And it deals 3 damage to any target.
So it's bolt with spell.
And Source 3 speed.
I don't
It's-
care.
It's so good.
I love it.
We have this in Wizards Lightning
God
and
damn
Lightning
it.
Strike. Like,
God
Mono Red
damn
just
it.
got
And
good.
Shock.
Oh my
And
god.
And Flame Keld.
Burn, burn, baby, burn.
It's just not okay. And then they're getting that new card. Hey, Rob, have you heard of, what's that card? The Dominance, Electro Dominance.
Oh, yeah.
So listen to this shit. X and 2 red. Instant speed.
Okay.
You may cast a spell X or less when you cast the spell. And then you also, from your hand, okay? A free spell. Then you also deal X damage to any target. at instant speed.
Do it.
Dude,
Get it done.
that card is busted.
Yeah.
Think about this in Modern. You can cast Ancestral Visions off of it.
Yeah.
You can cast Living End.
Yeah.
Bruh.
Anything with just the 0 cost of whatever.
That's just degenerate, you
Yeah.
know?
No, I mean, that's definitely got some room to be abused for sure.
This card's bad.
What is this card?
It's a bad card. It's
Venera
I know what it is.
Devastato.
So creatures that are multicolored get +1/+1.
Yep.
Bad.
I like this card.
Why is that bad? Is there no good multicolored creatures right now?
There is, but
Is that why it's bad?
It's just a build around, and I don't like doing that type of build
Yeah.
around.
I like this card though. Fireblade Artist.
Read it for me, Dan.
So it's a black and a red. Haste. At the beginning of your upkeep, you may sacrifice a creature. When you do, Fireblade Artist deals 2 damage to target opponent or planeswalker.
That's pretty good.
Ooh.
Yeah.
And I love haste. That's like one of my favorite
love that art.
keywords.
I love that art. Like that's
Dude,
what
that art is
that's what drew me to it first, and then I'm like, oh yeah, I should probably read the text on
It
this.
looks like a biker tattoo.
Yeah, right.
What about this card? So
Ethereal
interesting.
Absolution.
it's really interesting to me.
4 colorless, white and black.
Yeah.
Creatures you control get +1/+1. Creatures your opponent controls get -1/-1. 2 colorless, 1 white, 1 black. Exile target card from an opponent's graveyard. If it was a creature card, you create a 1/1 white and black spirit creature token.
So it's essentially making 2/2s. I think that this card is going to be pretty good out of control sideboards.
Yeah.
To fight Golgari decks, to fight opposing control decks.
I mean, anything that just abuses graveyard.
Right.
I love Graveyard Hate. and it's
Incidentally,
such an
very
awesome
good
card.
against tokens.
Yep. It's also really it's really good against the Explore deck because their creatures Explore triggers will go on the stack and they'll die, and then they'll explore.
Oh man, that's what I'm saying. It's a very good sideboard card. And there are cases like if the format warps a certain way, cards that say creatures your opponents control get -1/-1 are just good.
Yeah.
Here's a card I'm kind of excited for, Angel of Grace. Just because of the card Angel's Grace, it's a throwback.
Yeah, it kind of reminds me of Avacyn a little bit, but like not as good.
So Angel of Grace reads 3 colorless, 2 white, flash flying. When Angel of Grace enters the battlefield, until end of turn damage that would reduce your life total 2 less than 1 reduces it to 1 instead. 4 and 2 white. Exile Angel of Grace from your graveyard. Your life total becomes 10.
Ooh.
Good card is good.
Yep.
Here's another one I want to talk
It's
about.
a super awesome card, especially when you're in your ass beat.
Revival Revenge. This is one you might like, Rob. This is one you're going to like too, Dan.
Yep.
The first side is 2 hybrid black and white. Return target creature card with converted mana cost 3 or less from your graveyard to the battlefield. First side, sweet. Check out this side, the other side, though. This side's dope, too. Revenge. 4 and white black for a total of 6 sorcery. Double your life total. Target opponent loses half their life rounded up. Both sides very relevant.
Talk about something to put in some good sideboard.
I'm saying, well, that's like a main deck card with
You could,
for
yeah.
white black
At least for
aggro
the-
decks.
Yeah, that's true.
This is a Dan Horgan card for sure.
Oh yeah.
This is a card I'm
100%.
going to be seeing you cast a lot.
Probably.
Cast.
I already know. As soon as I saw this card, dude, I saw it earlier today, and I'm like, oh man, Dan Horgan is going to be reanimating so many Adanto Vanguards with this thing.
Oh, you're 100%. It's a vampire. I'm playing vampires.
I know.
I'm building the Tesa combo.
Talk
Let's
about
go.
a card that blew up. Like
Adanto,
Adanto Vanguard
yeah.
is a great card.
Yeah. You know what else happened? Alenda went up to $16.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I'm not surprised. So let's wrap it up.
Yeah. So we're gonna be getting going here. Is there anything you guys want to add before we?
No, I just want to say thank you, Rob. We're gonna have you on in the future. You know,
Appreciate it.
I'm
It was a good
excited. Rob and I are gonna be working on a podcast at some point, guys. So be expecting that. It's gonna be a little more
Edgy.
and distasteful and not so magic-y. So if you like some different type of content, be tuned in for that. Sunday, I just wanted to go real quick over the game schedule for the week here at Gamestorm Games. Sunday, Standards at 1 p.m., Modern at 7 p.m., which is what we stream. I'm usually doing the commentary for that. On Monday, we have EDH and 1v1 at 7 p.m. Tuesday, we have Commander Pods going on all night. Wednesday, we have Standard at 7 p.m. in D&D. Thursday, we have Commander Pods going all night. Friday, we have Standard, Modern, and Draft going at 7 p.m. That's where we record the Standard typically and put it on YouTube. And we're going to be trying to get that streamed soon too, but there's just so many people in there, it's not feasible at this point. Saturday, every second Saturday of the month, we have our High Stakes Legacy event at 1 p.m. And every Saturday, we have Pauper and board games going all day. All right, thank you so much for joining. I've had a lot of fun tonight. Thank you guys for listening.
Thank you
All
for
right.
having me on here. Appreciate it.
Yeah.
See
All
you
right.
guys in the future.
Yep. And we'll see you guys next week.
Good night.